Far and away, the most common comment that I get is someone telling me that Dream's manhunts are fake. Now, I'm a huge Manhunt fan, and these comments have always bugged me just a little bit, because what if they're real? In this video, we are going to figure out exactly how fake Dream's manhunts are. But before we get started, please brush your teeth because your breath stinks. Also, please consider subscribing. I put a lot of effort into my videos to try and bring high quality content, so your subscription would mean a lot. Let's dive right into the heart of the question. Are manhunts staged? Absolutely. Manhunts are completely staged, but so is every single professional sports game. See, you have to understand what the terms that you're using actually mean. A lot of people like to throw out the phrase manhunts are staged without actually thinking about what being staged actually entails. So let's break it down. Manhunts are staged in the exact same way as professional sports games. In a sports game, everything is set up to be in a near perfect environment. The games are played in a stadium that is the controlled environment, and manhunts are the same way. Callahan scouts out the seeds to every manhunt before they even happen. Each seed is specifically chosen with the purpose to give Dream the best opportunity to win, but that's a good thing. Imagine if each hunt happened on whichever seat the world was first generated in. It seems fine on the surface level, but if there's no village or ruined portal nearby, or if they spawn on an island or in the middle of nowhere, then the beginning of the manhunt could be extremely boring as Dream essentially runs and runs with nowhere to go. The only time where we ever saw Dream spawn somewhere where we had to run a far distance just to get basic resources was in the final manhunt, and he was forced to run in that direction because bad hit him. For all we know, there could have been a village in the opposite direction fairly nearby. In addition to that, the biome that they started in was unique to any other manhunt, so it added a new aspect to the manhunt either way. The whole point that I'm making is that you have to keep in mind that, like professional sports, despite the competitive aspect, it's entertainment. This means that the setting of the game, or the hunt, is staged to provide the most entertaining and competitive environment. So yes, in this aspect, the hunts are 100% staged, but as you know, this staging all happens before the hunt. When doing research for this video, I watched a whole lot of videos explaining how Dream fakes his manhunts, and they all pretty much say the same two things. They say that either the hunters purposely won't attack Dream, or that some things just seem like they happen because of something more than coincidence. So let's break down why the hunters don't attack Dream first. The very first thing that we need to recognize is that we see how manhunts play out in a perspective that you never get in any other competitive environment. We don't just see from Dream's perspective, we literally see what he sees. It's so immersed that we know his health, what he has, and this gives us an ability to read manhunts in a way that would be completely incomprehensible through any other perspective. But in seeing this, we can easily forget that the hunters don't have the same understanding of where Dream is at, be it health-wise, trap-wise, or even knowing whether or not Dream has an escape plan when cornered. So when Dream gets within one hit of death, we can often get confused or even straight up frustrated with the timidness of the hunters. But way back when I talked about what makes Dream so good, one of the biggest strengths that I noted was his ability to apply pressure when he's at a disadvantage. But what does that have to do with this? You see, when you're at a disadvantage in a situation, but you can act like you're in control, you can change what your opponent does. Small tangent, but I used to compete in robotics competitions. Now, our robot was never the best by any means, but we won. A lot. Our strength was in our strategy and our driving skill. You see, our team members, including myself, all played sports competitively, and we took that competitive and aggressive mindset into the competitions. And when you're playing and competing against people who don't really play sports, you have a competitive mindset advantage. I literally just took a shot at 99% of my audience. I am so sorry. But the point is that our team was able to outperform and win in scenarios when we shouldn't have, where if our opposition had done one or two simple things differently, they would have won. But the pressure we applied and the strategy we used made our opponents not realize that the victory was right there in front of them. Dream does the exact same thing. His skill is in Minecraft, and more specifically, the assertive way that he plays. It makes him seem more dominant, even in scenarios where he is at a deep disadvantage. I mean, how many times has Dream gotten out of a scenario where it seems like all hope is lost? So even in moments where Dream is only one hit away from death, in the back of the hunter's mind, they know that Dream may have some radical way to escape or kill them all. But let's go back to the original scenario. Dream is one hit from death and the hunters don't attack. Some situations are easy to explain, especially with high risk involved. Any situation where Dream would kill a hunter and they completely lose their stuff is completely understandable. Hunters are playing the long game. They only have to kill Dream once. Now, this can confuse us a bit. To a lot of people, they recognize this and they think, why don't the hunters just go kamikaze every time they see Dream? Well, this is one strategy, but when you look back, those scenarios are the scenarios when the hunters die and lose their stuff the most often. I mean, think about it this way. Although Bad Boy Halo is the best hunter, Sapnap is the best at PvP. Not only that, but Sapnap has the competitive edge that I was talking about when I was roasting my audience. I mean, I'm still sorry for that. But Sapnap will just charge in and fight, though let's step back and look at the full picture for a second. How many times in a 1v1 with Sapnap and Dream ended up with Sapnap killing Dream and winning the hunt? I went back through and counted every single time that Sapnap won a hunt this way, and totaled it up to 0. 0 times it worked. But Phil with Super, you're only looking at times when Dream wasn't one hit from death. No, you're forgetting that Dream is part of this as well. He doesn't just fight until he kills whoever he's in a battle against. He runs when he's at a disadvantage. There are plenty of times when Dream is one hit from death, but he runs away because he's not dumb. Now, why doesn't a hunter just catch up and hit him once? Now, the hunters don't know Dream's health, but either way, there are 2 main reasons why they don't. The first is that they simply can't catch him. That one we understand. The second is based off of a precedent that Dream has set in the hunts. Dream will at random times when running away, turn and hit the hunters, then go back and keep running. The hunters are so used to this that when Dream turns, or is within range of them hitting him, the hunter's instinct is to block their shields, to become defensive instead of offensive. Dream has subliminally manipulated the hunters into not attacking him. It's actually kind of hilarious because Dream doesn't specifically tell the hunters to not hit him in the way that the comment section think that he does, but at the same time, he has told them not to hit him, but in a completely different way. But what about moments that seem like too much of a coincidence? Moments where it seems like the hunters are doing something specifically to set up Dream. Moments like walking down a suspicious path to get blown up by a bed, standing precariously over the void knowing Dream is going to fly back with an elytra and knock you off, or throwing a water bucket down coincidentally when Dream has no other option to escape. How scripted are these moments? Well, they're kind of scripted, but really not. Here's how they are scripted though. In Manhunts, there are sets of rules in place to keep the Manhunts exciting. Rules like encouraging not using the same OP strats more than once, no super glitches that will automatically win your side the game, no nether travel so that way the chases are more intense, rules that are in place to keep the hunts as entertaining as possible. But the biggest rule of them all is that if Dream dies early on, they will simply redo the hunt. This means that Dream can take more risks early on, and if he dies, they simply reset. But this doesn't really explain why the hunters seem to act so dumb at times. Well, the hunters are weird. Like, they tend to drastically overthink and then underthink. Let's break down Dream catching Sapnap's water bucket, because this is the perfect example. Why does Sapnap, with diamond armor, not jump down and attack Dream, who had nothing? For starters, Sapnap overthinks this scenario. Now, he doesn't know that Dream doesn't have a way down, so what Sapnap is thinking is that if he jumps down, he may miss his hit, take some fall damage, then Dream would knock him off. Then Sapnap has the chance of dying from fall damage hitting the ground, and then Dream just jumps down, takes his diamond stuff, and runs off. Again, Sapnap doesn't know that Dream doesn't have a way down, let alone know that he is only one hit from death. So then the hunters come up with the idea of flooding the bottom. This way, if Dream or Sapnap falls down, either Sapnap lives and it's not a big deal, or Dream falls and is rushed by 5 diamond-clad hunters. Sapnap thinks of this and then realizes he could toss his bucket down to save time getting water, and this is where he underthinks. He's not thinking about Dream at all. He's thinking solely about his team's plan to flood the bottom. So he started off by overthinking in the ways that he should, but then blinked on the one area that he should have thought about more. In fact, even though it was cut from the video, Dream later said that Sam roasted him for the next 30 seconds about being an idiot and throwing his bucket down.
Now, I cut out the audio from the next part. Well, I didn't cut it out. Like, I cut out the clip, but like in between here and here, or in between this cut and this cut, so someone goes, I threw my bucket, and Sam is just like digging into him, and I cut it out. I was like, oh, I don't know if Sam would want me to leave this in, because Sam was like, you idiot, why would you drop your bucket, blah 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 blah, and I cut that part out, and it just cuts to me going, oh my god, blah blah blah. But anyway.
But even so, that still doesn't really explain how it's staged. The way that it is staged is the fact that this play only happened because Dream redid the hunt. This wasn't the first run at the final manhunt. Dream said in his breakdown video that the hunters had used the same finding diamond strat before in a previous run. So if he had stuck with that run, we would have never seen this play. So yeah, in that regard, this play was staged. It wasn't a specific scripted moment, but the opportunity for it to happen was only there because of the way Dream set up the manhunts. Let's just attack the question head on and give a black and white answer. Are manhunts scripted? No. Are manhunts staged? Yes. Manhunts are set up like professional sporting events, but unlike pro sports, there are redos. But does this really matter? I mean, that's up to you. Personally, I don't care. I greatly enjoy manhunts as they are, and in fact, I appreciate how Dream conducts and sets up manhunts in a way that brings out the most possible entertainment. You see, the alternative is that we get to see all the versions where Dream gets punched to death in the first 5 minutes, and even as a viewer, that's really just not interesting to me. I want to see Dream go far into the hunt, and die in the end, or win in the end. It doesn't matter as long as I get to see a full hunt, and that's the purpose. But I can understand if you feel like that's cheating, if you feel like you're getting a fake version of Dream by only seeing him at his best, and that is totally fine. There are so many moments in Manhunt that seem almost too perfectly set up, and I want to know which ones you think fit that. If you think that Manhunts are scripted, why is that? Is it one of the areas that I talked about, or was there something that I completely missed? Also, let me know which moments are the most sus, and also let me know whether or not you even care if they are scripted. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd consider subscribing, that would mean the world to me. Adios.